Ciao, and welcome back to The Wine Fool. As always, I'm Scott, and today our destination is Italy, where we'll be exploring the three iconic Italian Bs, Barolo, Brunello, and Barbaresco. Before we get into the content, just like to thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. 83% of the folks that are watching content on this channel aren't subscribed. And that's okay, I understand. But if you've watched more than one video and I haven't driven you away yet, give that subscribe button a push. It helps me know that I'm doing a good job and that you're enjoying the content on the channel. Last week we tapped into Trader Joe's top shelf wines. Well, this week we're tapping into varietals that are often found on actual top shelves around the world. First up, we have Barolo, sometimes referred to as the king of wines, mainly due to its lengthy history, really dating back to the Middle Ages in the Piedmont area. Barolo is a single varietal wine made exclusively from the Nebbiolo grape. It's known for its boldness and complexity and its ability to be aged for many years. Typical flavors include dark cherries, roses, tar, and even a hint of truffle. Oak barrel aging adds layers of depth and a signature tannic structure. Today, we're looking at the 2019 Mauro Molino Barolo. It's 14% alcohol by volume, and this was $43 for the bottle. Definitely a change of pace from last week's $15 wines. Definitely like huge difference in the wines we were drinking last week, right? We drank a Bordeaux, very purple, very, sort of standard, typical colors. Today, this is a ruby color with like a hint of orange. Let's give this a sniff. Pretty expressive, like, getting that floral notes off of it. Let's give it a try. Salute. Woo. First red of the night. Always kicks you a little harder. So really good. Right off the bat, just so you know, these have been sitting in the glass. These are wines that want to breathe a little bit. So these have been sitting a lot longer than I thought it would take me to write the episode. They've been sitting at least a half hour, if not more. So they've definitely been given a chance to breathe a little bit. But yeah, if any of these wines that we're looking at today could definitely be, aerated at minimum. Decanting, we'll see, like for the 2019 and for this 2018, perhaps decanting. But more importantly, really just getting it out into the air a little bit, letting it breathe, breaking down some of those tannins a little bit. Good acidity, balanced by the tannins. Not too overwhelming, but yeah, I'm going to go back in for a second one because I did a lot of talking. Yeah, very dry. Good flavor. This is a really nice wine. Definitely wine fool level 2. And I would imagine, like any of these, the ones that we're trying today, you're probably starting with the adventurous. But if you really want to get nitty gritty, these are sort of the type of grapes that will age phenomenally. Some more so than others. Definitely the Barolo and the Brunello are going to age. It's almost a shame to have opened a 2018 Brunello. We'll get to that in a little bit. But these are the kind of wines that can be aged, that if you are, curious and, want to venture into beginning to cellar wines, these are the kinds of wines that are very well known for aging. I've got several bottles of Brunello in my collection. Some that are now up to 12 years old, which is young, I'm sure, in some people's minds. In mine, I'm just happy to have one that's 12 years old. That being said, this is a great wine. $43 price point. You're not messing around. This is definitely that price point. I'm really hoping for a great wine, something that I can really enjoy. And I will say I'm not disappointed by this. Up next is one of my favorites, a wine that really pushed me into that curious wine fool level 2 drinker that I am today. In the heart of Tuscany, Brunello di Montalcino reigns supreme. This wine is made from a clone of the Sangiovese grape known as Brunello. It's bold, elegant, and incredibly age-worthy. Typical flavors include blackberry, black cherry, black raspberry, those dark fruits, chocolate, leather, and violets. I also associate a kind of smokiness to Brunello. That might just be me. The best Brunellos are aged for a minimum of 5 years before they're even brought to market. So don't go looking for that 2024 bottle of Brunello until 2029. That's just not how they're done. That being said, this varietal often pushes the boundary of what I'm comfortable with spending for an everyday bottle of wine. This is not your everyday bottle of wine. Most bottles of Brunello start in the $50 range and work their way up. This particular bottle was the cheapest, and even then it wasn't cheap, as you'll soon see. This is the 2018 Il Valentiano Campo di Marzo Brunello di Montalcino. That's a mouthful. 14.5% alcohol by volume, and this bottle was $38. Again, that garnet, I'm getting that smokiness again. Dried fruit. What is that? Earthiness, like mushrooms almost. It's like a little bit of a funk. Let's give it a try. Salute. Dry. Great balance though. Strong tannins, moderate acidity, kind of balancing it out. Definitely dry on the tongue. Again, the Barolo, this Brunello, paired with cheeses, fatty meats. Fantastic. I love a Brunello. Doesn't happen often, but a Brunello with a great steak, porterhouse or something like that. Hey, if you're spending a lot on the wine, you may as well spend a lot on the steak, right? I get that smokiness on the nose. To me, and I say smokiness, and that could be sort of that earthiness breaking through. Again, to me, this is like wine fool level 2. This was the first wine where I was like, wow, there's so much going on here. There's so many different things. The smokiness, the fruitiness, just the different layers. And that's really what, when I talk about, my wine fool levels, that 2 is that adventurous, that 3 is like starting to discern between all those different things and understanding it. I still don't, but to me, that's, the recognition of all those different levels of a wine and what makes a wine like this, just that extra step more. It's like the car with the leather interior instead of the fabric. It's that little thing that in the grand scheme of things isn't a big deal, but when you sit in it, you're like, all right, it's a little bit classier, just a little bit nicer. For our final wine, we're back in the Piedmont region again, but this time this is Barbaresco. Full transparency, I've never had a Barbaresco before. I've had these others, Barolos and Brunellos, many times, but for whatever reason, the Barbaresco never crossed my mind. But it's the final B in our little bees party tonight. Made from Nebbiolo grapes, just like the Barolo. Too many B's. Barbaresco is considered its more elegant counterpart. Typical notes of red fruit, flowers, and some earthiness. Apparently, it's often a bit lighter and more approachable at a younger age compared to Barolo, making it a good introduction to Nebbiolo wines. This is the 2020 Fontanabianca Barbaresco. It's 14% alcohol by volume. Again, we've got like that ruby, kind of garnet with like a tinge of orange to it on the color. Red fruit. There's something else in there that I'm not getting. I don't recognize. There's like a richness to it that's nice. Let's give it a try. Salute. Nice. A little bit more fuller bodied, which is interesting. This is 14%, right? This is 14.5%. Just a sense of fuller body. Good. Making my mouth water. Good acidity. A little bit more, I guess maybe a little bit more residual sugar in this compared to the others, which is giving it that body. But yeah, really tasty. Kind of can't complain about any of these. A little bit of smokiness, not quite as I get from the Brunello. I get just on the nose. To me, I get a lot of smokiness. This one, there's like a hint of that smokiness in the actual palate. That's nice. Again, I love Italian reds. Hard for me to find a bad Italian red. I'm sure if I tried hard enough, I would. Good Lord, this was an expensive episode. I love it though. Italian wines are some of my favorite. And I hope that this episode piques your interest a little bit in trying something new. Italian reds, especially the Bs, Brunello, Barolo, Barbaresco. Yes, they're going to push the envelope a little bit. They're not an everyday wine for most of us. Definitely something that will age, something that you can buy a couple bottles of it. If you're lucky, buy a couple bottles, drink one, throw the other somewhere cool and dark, where the temperature doesn't fluctuate too much. Give it a couple years. I've been lucky enough where I've been able to, we've had a cellar, and the temperature's relatively good. Fingers crossed. I have a refrigerator now, but it sat in the cellar for a while. I've got a couple bottles that have been sitting, a dozen years, 5-10 years. That I'm really curious, I'm really hoping to one day break open and taste the difference, right? To see what that aging does, how it evolves. I think that's one of the most fascinating parts about wine is that, it's a living, breathing thing, really, that, continuously changes over the course of time. Sometimes not for the better. And I'm hoping that mine all turn out for the better. But, we'll see. I guess we'll see. That's it for this week. Until next time, stay foolish and salute to drinking better wine.